I've been making my own clothes for 3 years now. It started off as a pandemic hobby, but I've continued sewing, and it feels so cool to wear something that you know that you made yourself, and to tell people like, hey, thank you, I made it myself, when they compliment you. These are my tips that I think will really help you if you want to start making your own clothes. I started by making a dress, and I think you can do this too, and I think you should do this too, because we really want to do something that will encourage us to continue, that will make us feel proud that we actually made something wearable. I think that's key, because our brains want rewards, and I think it's more rewarding to have a dress that you made yourself than a pillowcase. The most important thing when it comes to sewing is to understand that sewing and making your own pattern or design is really about problem solving. You want something to happen, you have an idea in your mind, and you just need to solve all the problems to get there. This is a skill that we all have, and that's what makes it fun to sew, in my opinion, to kind of solve those problems. Like, if I make this, this will happen, but what if I do this instead? That's like the bottom line of sewing. I didn't have a pattern for the first dress that I made. Actually, I still sew things without a pattern, and I think you can try this too. As I mentioned, this is just about problem solving, but there are some dresses that are easier to make, and you will kind of see what I mean when I show you these examples. So let me show you some dresses that I think can work as your first beginner project. So I created a Pinterest board where I have collected these dresses. I will be linking the Pinterest board below if you wanna feel inspired by that. Otherwise, don't worry about it. So if you take a look at a dress, it will most likely have a piece in the middle, and this might be several pieces, and then you will have sleeves, and then sometimes you have some accessories on it or some detailing. And this is what I want to teach you to look at now. So if we take a look at the first dress that I have here on my Pinterest board, so this is really, it's a one piece here in the top, and then it's cut below the waist, or just after, like underneath the breast, and then it has fluffy sleeves, like these kind of poofy sleeves, and then it's just one big piece, that's the skirt, and they have attached a detail in the front. So this is a quite easy dress to make. The fun thing here is the fabric, which you can definitely choose. You can choose like something that is structured, because that will include like more of, I don't know, structure. To make this dress, I would start by doing a front piece, just cutting out like something that would fit you in the front, and add some seam allowance, and then I would probably make darts here. These are like the little pieces here. If you have breasts, it will create this shape, so it will fall more flattering on you. After making those darts, I would do a back piece. I would attach them together so I have kind of a top. After that, I would make the sleeves, and to make ruffled sleeves, you just sew a straight stitch and then you kind of scrunch it up together, and that will collect the fabric and make like a fluffiness. That's how you make those gathered sleeves. And then attach the bottom piece, which looks like it's also has the same ruffle thing. So straight stitch, scrunch it up together and attach it. And after that, you can choose to make the detail on the front, and then you obviously decide what length you want it to be. So this is something that is quite easy, But that's super cute, and it doesn't look like it needs a zipper or anything, so you can just pull it over your head, which is super easy to make. If we take a look at this second dress, that is from Kowtow, which is an ethical brand that I really love. They make a lot of super nice clothes. So again, take a look. They have a V-neck, and make sure you see where this front part ends. Sometimes it ends right here on the shoulder, sometimes it has more of a dropped shoulder. So this is like a front piece with a V-neck, then it has these balloon sleeves, and then it's just a big bottom part. Don't worry about pockets unless you really wanna have pockets. I think this piece is also super simple. It's like one front piece in the top, one bottom piece, and the same for the back, and then like balloon sleeves. And then I have some other dresses here which are all quite similar when you think about it. Some of them have sleeves and some of them don't. But for instance, this sleeveless dress that I think her name is Brittany Bathgate. So she is wearing this kind of midi dress, which is pretty much like, it's a cami top on the top, and then it has a gathered, almost pleated, but I would say a gathered dress in the bottom. And it's the same thing. It's like this front piece, then she has thin straps, no sleeves, and like a bottom piece. So it's really nothing too advanced. This is something that you can make yourself. I also have a little tutorial on YouTube, which I will be linking, on how I made this dress. So if you want to make something like this, you can find inspiration here. So this is quite an important tip, because this will make your life easier when you get started. But use cotton fabric or linen fabric. I think cotton fabric that is non-stretchy, or linen fabric like the one I'm wearing right now, it has some integrity to it, so it's like, it's not necessarily thicker. Imagine what your sheets are, like that kind of thickness. It's trickier to sew in very thin fabrics and stretchy fabrics, so when you get started you should avoid those unless you really wanna take your time and be patient. But I would recommend starting with cotton or linen and choose one of the designs or something similar that I have on my Pinterest board. This next tip is really just like, go and find information when you need it. There are plenty of tutorials on YouTube for everything. How to make sleeves, how to make short sleeves, how to make balloon sleeves, how to make ruffled sleeves, how to hem, how to sew a straight stitch, how to thread a machine, all of that. So just get started, and when you run into a problem, go to YouTube, try to find a good tutorial on something, and then just do it yourself. When it comes to tools, you need a sewing machine, a pair of scissors, some thread and fabric, of course. And you don't need to buy anything fancy. I started with a sewing machine that was gifted from me. It was from the late 70s. It was really not a fancy machine. And now I'm using a machine from the 50s, which is not necessarily a fancy machine, but it's a very good one. My best advice is just to get started, just do it. Put on a nice podcast or a nice album and just sew away. It's super fun, it's so rewarding, and it's quite cool to make something yourself and be aware of every part of the process. I think we consume way too much, and this is a way to slow that down, to have unique pieces and to learn and develop a new skill. I hope this was inspiring. If you want to see more of the things that I've been making, you can find them on my Instagram. I post there about secondhand finds, things that I've sewn myself, and some interior decor stuff. So find my Instagram.